Productions and Presents, The Biblical God, Alien Household, narrated by me, the religious whore. The Elohim. Yahweh is not far from the only name that uses the Bible to describe God. The first name and the most abundant 2,500 times that the Bible uses to describe God is Elohim, which curiously is plural and has come to mean strong or powerful. The plural used by a book whose main purpose is to spread the idea that one must worship God, as opposed to many gods who were in neighboring towns, is something that an unprejudiced observer has to fill with wonder. Both the Genesis and other books of the Pentateuch, we find many facts as amazing as this and yet have always been passed over and taken very lightly by commentators of the Bible. Admittedly, they are very uncomfortable verses in their interpretation, and it does not really fit with the teaching that Christianity has held for many centuries. So exegetes and Bible scholars have preferred the long pass or simply ignore them. We, without prejudice, try to stick to what we read in the Bible. For many convoluted and biased interpretations that have wanted to do it an undeniable fact that the Bible begins with these amazing words, Bereshith bara Elohim. In the beginning, the mighty created heaven and earth. We will return to these intriguing words. We do not know how the first meeting of Yahweh with Abraham. We know it was when he lived in Ur of the Chaldees, and went still called Abram, whose name he later was changed to Abraham for the same Lord as to Sarai his wife. Sarah changed it. This detail of the name change is still prevalent in today's contacted. The first time we see the Lord appear in a visible way, as so often did after Moses, and tells us in Genesis, chapter XV, verse 17, it happened because the sun has already appeared in the middle of thick darkness, the smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces sacrificed by Abraham. On that day the Lord has made covenant with Abraham, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land from the river of Egypt unto the river large Euphrates. The promises and blessings of Yahweh to Abraham did not refer only to his future offspring that would become a great people, but also directed the immediate descendants of Abraham himself, as having reached old age childless Sarah as his wife was barren, and this in the mindset of those patriarchal villages was considered a great misfortune. Yahweh promised then to Abraham that despite his age and his wife have a son, and it did something that is often repeated today often in people who have been contacted by aliens called, they are very often, promising offspring to contact or interfere in family matters. I know a few instances of contacts that apropos of nothing and without that they had made no request to aliens, they said to them in X time, have a son, and often in circumstances that was logical that this would happen. I know a case in which a visitor alien addressing the head of the family told him pointing to a courtyard inside the house, I see two kids playing there in 2 years. Actually, after 2 years the twins were born in that family, used to play in that little yard. The great proof that the Lord put Abraham was to require the life of his son Isaac, who had been conceived in an almost extraordinary, thanks to the intervention of Yahweh himself. Undoubtedly this request the Lord to Abraham had to be a terrible ordeal, not only because of the life of his son, but it surely had to come to mind great doubts about the goodness and even the sanity of that God sent him things so absurd and contradictory. But this is only the beginning of the mode of action of the Lord that we will see making the strangest things along the entire Pentateuch and the Bible. Abraham passed the test, and this terrible deserved that the Lord will ensure a solemn covenant. He will bless in a special way to all his descendants. As always, it was a pleasure to make this video. Do not forget to leave your comment and tell us if you like it or not. I don't give a fuck if you do or not. XD.